He was sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions, unquote. Not until the time of Gamaliel, in the middle of the 1st century A.D., was a child allowed to sit in the presence of the rabbis. 14th, Luke 23:12 states, quote, Herod and Pilate became friends with each other that very day, while before they were enemies, unquote. To the day Pilate was recalled by Rome, he and Herod were enemies. Herod was continually plotting to unite Pilate's Judea with his Galilee. Herod alleged his father had promised him both. They never became friends. 15th, Luke 23:33 says, quote, When they came to a place called Calvary, they crucified him, unquote. If Jesus had been tried, convicted, and executed by the Jews, he would have been stoned, not executed. Jews never used crucifixion. 16th, John 2:20 says, quote, The Jews replied, It has taken 46 years to build this temple, unquote. The problems with this verse are A, the scholar English says the temple then standing was built by Herod in 8 years. And B, Josephus, the Jewish historian, in Book 15, Chapter 11, Section 6 of his book entitled The Jewish Antiquities, where he gives a full account of the building of the temple, says it took 1.5 years between 19 and 17 BC. Neither English nor Josephus says it took anywhere near 46 years. 17th, in John 13:38, Jesus says, quote, Verily, verily, I, Jesus, say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. That is, 3 times. The scholar English says cocks weren't allowed in Jerusalem at that time. There were no roosters to crow. 18th, John 11:49 says, quote, One of them, named Caiaphas, was high priest that year. This language implies the high priest was appointed yearly, whereas actually the office was occupied for life or until removal. Caiaphas was high priest for many years, not 1 year. 19th, John 11:51-52 says, quote, He, that is Caiaphas again, did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the nation, unquote. Jews knew that prophesying was not a privilege of or part of the high priest's office. A high priest did not assume the role of prophet, much less would he have uttered the prophecy ascribed to Caiaphas. It would have been foreign to the Jewish mind. And for even one person to have been put to death for all of Israel would have been the equivalent of murder. 20th, according to John 19:6, Pilate said to them, quote, Take him, crucify him, for I find no fault in him, unquote. The highest official in the land pronounced a man innocent and then turned around and condemned him to death? Hardly. 21st, John 19:31 says, quote, The Jews therefore besought Pilate that the legs of Jesus and the thieves might be broken and that they might be taken away, unquote. This punishment, known as crucifragium, was a distinct mode of execution and was never combined with crucifixion. Moreover, neither crucifragium nor crucifixion was ever used to punish theft. Yet here we are asked to believe that both were used, or at least crucifragium was proposed. 22nd. After the resurrection, John 29 says, quote, As yet they knew not the Scripture. What Scripture? When this was written, there was no Scripture about the death and the resurrection, nor would there be for 100 years. 23rd. Acts 3:21 says, quote, Which God has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began. What prophets were living when the world began? 24th. In Acts 5:36, Gamaliel gave a speech before the Jewish council and said, quote, Some time ago Theudas appeared, claiming to be somebody. And about him 400 men rallied. He was killed. All his followers were dispersed, and it all came to nothing. Unquote. Josephus says this revolt by Theudas occurred in 45 or 46 A.D. Yet Gamaliel made this speech about it before the council earlier than 36 A.D. Some think it's around 29 A.D. In essence, the author of Acts is saying Gamaliel is speaking about an event as if it had already occurred, which in reality did not happen until approximately 16 years after Gamaliel spoke. 25th. Acts 7:14-16 says regarding some Old Testament events, quote, After this, Joseph, while in Egypt, sent for his father Jacob and his whole family, 75 in all. Then Jacob went down to Egypt, where he and our fathers died. Their bodies were brought back to Shechem and placed in the tomb that Abraham had bought from the sons of Hamor at Shechem. Unquote. On pages 269 and 270 of the book entitled The Jew and the Christian Missionary, the Jewish scholar Gerald Siegel all but destroyed the validity of these verses by making the following observations. A. Jacob's family that went down into Egypt, including Joseph and his sons, numbered 70 people, not 75, according to Genesis 46:27, Exodus 1:5, and Deuteronomy 10:22. B. Jacob was not buried in the city of Shechem, but in the cave of Machpelah, which is located near the city of Hebron. This is shown by Genesis 23:19, 49:29-30, and 50:13. C. The Hebrew Scriptures don't give any indication that the forefathers of the tribes of Israel were buried in Shechem. Only Joseph is said to have been buried there, according to Joshua 24:32. D. Abraham did not buy a tomb in Shechem. He bought the cave of Machpelah, which he used as a burial place, and which, as I've already stated, is located near the city of Hebron. E. The cave of Machpelah was not bought from the sons of Hamor, but from Ephron the Hittite, according to Genesis 23:17-18 and 50:13. And F. It was Jacob, not Abraham, who purchased a piece of land near Shechem from the sons of Hamor.